This is beautiful Lake Monroe. Here, in the heart of southern Indiana, just south of Bloomington, you can find one of America's oldest and most beautiful destinations. Lake Monroe was formed over 20,000 years ago, at the end of the last great ice age. As the Earth warmed and the last continental ice sheet retreated, this ice sheet, which was nearly 2 miles thick, gouged the Earth's surface to create the lake basin. Then, all the meltwater ran down and filled the basin to the levels we see today. This glacial melt is why, even in the summer, it never reaches above 38 degrees Fahrenheit. Some scientists, primarily Indiana-based scientists, say that Lake Monroe is the first of the Great Lakes to emerge in the Holocene era, and you can still find Lake Monroe listed in some textbooks as the sixth Great Lake. Whether or not Lake Monroe is one of the Great Lakes, it is a rich biodiverse habitat, with over 70 varieties of fish and countless huntable game and wildlife. The lake is massive, the 8th largest lake in Indiana, and the 7th largest lake in the U.S., and contains 850 hectares of water. That's nearly enough to fill 25 Olympic swimming pools. Unique amongst the Great Lakes, Lake Monroe contains 18 varieties of Asian carp, more than anywhere else in the world. This invasive species is choking out native fish and irreparably altering the ancient and delicate ecosystem of the lake. The carp found their way into the lake starting around 20 years ago, when many people in the nearby city of Bloomington began buying baby carp as pets, and then flushing them down the drain when they became too large and unwieldy. Scientists and biologists are trying to find ways to control or eliminate the carp population, but the problem is astronomical in scale and won't be easily resolved. You can do your part by properly disposing of your Asian carp and by contacting the Carp Rescue Foundation. Together, we can make the lake American again. Of course, they haven't always called it Lake Monroe. The Kickapoo tribe called it Wachatame, which translates roughly to Southern Water. Some Indiana historians see this as evidence that the Kickapoo also believed Monroe was part of the Great Lakes. Early settlers came to call the lake, "Who shot at me? What's the matter with me? Whose cat do I see? Watch sodomy," and more recently, "Who is Kin Watanabe?" and endless similar phonetic variations. And so on. How it came to be called Lake Monroe has become the stuff of legends. The story goes, in 1817, James Monroe's only son, James Fenimore Monroe, mad with syphilis, was traveling from his home to see a doctor in Chicago when his party chose to camp on the shores of Lake Wachatame. That evening, a powerful storm rose and nearly destroyed the camp, injuring 3 and enraging James Fenimore Monroe's syphilitic mind. So mad was he that for the next 3 years he claimed to wage war on the lake. He grew unkempt and made his home in a large beaver lodge, and became known as the Caligula of Indiana. 3 years later, he emerged from the woods, curiously clean-shaven and claiming to have achieved victory over the lake. From then on, local residents mockingly called it Lake Monroe. It was officially renamed Lake Monroe by the Indiana Parks Department in 1998. Today, Lake Monroe is one of North America's premier boating destinations. At any given time, there are more power boats on Lake Monroe than there are grains of sand on its shores. It is home to the third largest bald eagle sanctuary in the county and is a regular stop for migratory birds, including the near extinct and much sought after chocobo. Over 10,000 people visit the lake every year. That's more than all the other Great Lakes combined. They come here to boat, to fish, swim, or just relax on its beautiful beaches. Lake Monroe has become an example of how man and beast can coexist, come together, and drink light beer. Today, Lake Monroe is a beacon of collaboration, an ideal of synergy between the old and the new that lights the way for the lakes of the future. For 20,000 years, this lake has stood as an icon of enduring beauty, as a testament to man's harmony with nature. Only together can we ensure that the sixth Great Lake will stay a touchstone of pristine, speedboatable nature for another 20,000 years.